I know that online we are going to be joined by Namasha Singh from Assisa Foundation Build Up Program, who is going to be taking us on education. Is being with us. I know you were with us from the initial stage up to now, taking us through. Comrades, without much, I'm therefore going to request the Secretary to present the credentials to the AGM so that
the situation as we speak, Chair, we have more than 45 members who have joined, plus at least 1% of the members of the cooperative in excess of 200. We want to confirm almost close to 50 now, as some members are joining online. Thank you, Chair. The meeting correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Maybe before I check for the seconder, let me check those who are online whether they can hear us.
Yes, I am.
Thank you very much. So credentials are seconded. We are then moving to the two. We'll then have a presentation by Assisa Foundation Build Up Program. Then after that, we'll deal with the minutes, the Managing Director, the report of the Treasurer, the report of the Audit and Risk Committee. Then we get to the process of the election or the filling of vacancies. Let's then check if we have a seconder for the adoption of the agenda. Then we move to the introduction of guests. We'll therefore request the Secretary to introduce our guests. Comrade Secretary.
Sign their hands. Comrade Patrick Low, Neo Maimane, Brendan Delu, Walter Thaise, George Mahlangu, Ntabi Singh. We've got Mumpati, Galorale, Mashilo Matsela, who has also formally apologized, and Faith Induli. On Sadtu which Comrade Mahope Mapila. On Hold, we are having a CEO, Jose Mang, Nonka Ntateko, I'm not sure, Unkateko, Matevula, Thimboho, Padu. And then our two auditors have formally also apologized that they will not be part of this meeting. And also online we are able
to access the documents. We are trying to be paperless and be environmentally friendly. As
Sacco, I thought it will be flagged, was released on the 31st of January. To all shall be held. It also talks to the record date for the meeting, which was the 30th of November 2023. It also indicated...
Can we note the notice? Notice is noted, seconded by... Let's wait for the mic so that they can hear you, those who are online as well, CEO.
Obviously, other leaders of the organization present here, also in their various capacities, Comrade Walter and others. Let me also greet the executive committee, those who have managed to link, from far. It is our firm view as I hold that Sadtu Sacco and steer ahead. It is quite normal, Comrade Chair, that we don't normally thank ourselves for the achievement that we've made, but we beat an institutional member of Sadtu Sacco, have always been committed to, in our own small way, at around 250,000 for them to be able to deal with the operations of the organization. We know presence in the meetings of Sadtu Sacco because it's been mandated by Saihold to represent Saihold in here. That our board in Saihold is actually alive to some of the issues that you are actually going through. And I want to thank him for this. Below there, so it means that the members of this organization, the board members who are far, they actually have the best interest of the organization. We want to take this opportunity, Comrade Chair, to wish you well. Thank you.
Allow him or her to speak as and when he joins us. Let me check if Namasha is ready. Namasha, are you there?
The Assisa Foundation Build Up Program, and she will be doing a short presentation on member education regarding financial literacy.
In terms of the Assisa Foundation, I'm not sure if everybody can see the slideshow.
It's Namasha.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. So the Assisa Foundation is basically, we were created by the Association for Savings and Investments in South Africa, as well as a broad-based ownership scheme. So what that means is we don't sell products, we don't sell services, we necessarily do not do training. We've got retirement funds trustee education, which is very similar to member education, but on a board level, but dealing with retirement funds in particular. And then we have needs. And now we have Build Up. So Build Up is for cooperatives or any organization that has members that have a common goal in a specific area, cooperative. So we customize most of the training and the content that is being rolled out. So in terms, and how does that impact then on the cooperative that you are a member of? So we work in collaboration with umbrella bodies, as I've mentioned, CBD, a Fund for South Africa or for Nature, WWFSA. So we've been around for a while. We've basically trained approximately 103,000, whether you are a primed, seasoned, mature adult, and you need to actually manage your household income or your budgets in savings products within your CFI that are available to your members. So likewise, consumer financial education is important as well from a cooperative level. And I believe a simple premium so that you know whether a cash buy purchase would be better than taking out credit. We also encourage a culture of savings and investments. I mean, you know, growing up in the South, I also want to teach people how to approach the communication of money in terms of, it's very difficult. I mean, you know, in relationships, you have emotional, it's something that affects everybody. So when you're not able to buy a Valentine's Day gift, or when you're not able to splash out for Christmas or a stokvel, or, you know, some of us are born with privilege, some of us are not. And most of us are disadvantaged, or we feeling financial pinches, especially as inflation.
Namasha.
Hi, apologies.
Namasha? About your objectives.
Okay.
Yes.
I do apologize. I'm not sure where I cut off. So in terms of how the process that we follow is usually I, as the program manager for Build Up, would basically meet with somebody from the education committee profiling or target audience profiling, where we look at the demographics, because the Assisa Foundation funds the entire program. There is no
Yeah. Comrades, we'll the minutes of the last AGM. Comrade Secretary.
Entered here as read. These are the minutes of the previous AGM, which was held on the 25th of August in 20.
Line to indicate that indeed the minutes were circulated.
That yes, the minutes were circulated. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Indeed, the minutes were circulated. We will then, as discussed in the last AGM, I'm on page 1. Let's move to the next slide. Slide 2. Slide 6. 7. Slide 8. 11. 12. 17. 18. And
Lloyd Chabe, second.
thank you very much, Comrade Lloyd. The minutes are seconded. We have the minutes of the last AGM. Fourth, fifth, sixth, 13, 14, 19. Oh, that's the last slide. Thank you very much. No matters arising, so we have the minutes that will be signed by the chair at the right time. Thank you very much.
Chair presents report to the AGM. Over to you, Chair.
Sadtu Sacco, Sadtu Sacco solely depends on regular convening the annual general meetings in order for 23. The Constitution demands that the AGM, in the AGM, the board should present the audit report. It is, however, unfortunate that the AGM is convened after it has been postponed 2 times already. The postponement has been caused due to a number of circumstances, but amongst those is the insufficient staff members at the office. You will then appreciate that SACCO is also at its. Also, the former MD, as you all know, had to perform the work of SADTU as a national accountant of SADTU, while on the other hand, he was also expected to perform his duties as the national accountant of SADTU. This then necessitated that the former MD wrote to the board and came as a result. During this meeting at the right time, the new MD is going to be introduced to the board. At the beginning of the meeting, I did not introduce the MD deliberately, so that at the right level of the office, by creating and appointing the position of the loan officer and the bookkeeping officer respectively, they are also here. They carries out its founding mandate and historical mission. The historical mission of any cooperative remains being the promotion and the advancement of members' social and economic welfare, This is to be done by emancipating the workers from the bondages of the commercial banks and shackles joined together by a common bond. In our case, our common bond is SADTU membership. emphasizing the common bond is critical so that we can all, as members, not necessarily members of SADTU, they might be members of other unions or they might be free agents of SADTU. Because in a cooperative, you must have a common bond. And in our instance, the common bond is act of capitalism on the livelihoods of workers, but also serve as an instrument to can be used by workers to build an egalitarian. So wanted to emphasize them. One is open and voluntary membership. Members are expected to join voluntarily. It does not necessarily mean that if you are so how to manage their finances. I think ASISA was going to assist us in that regard moving forward, which I think the board will have to engage with that particular presentation and see how best to create a culture of saving collectively amongst themselves for themselves. To the extent that Sadtu Sacco has been doing very well, was awarded to Sadtu Sacco for being a top performer. In 2022, Sadtu Sacco was identified as them, as I've indicated earlier, with the new marketing officer, bookkeeper officer, loan officer, so that we create an organization that is a complex process. The organization, as it grows, goes through different developmental stages. These developmental stages involve risks that an organization may go through for the soft aspect of the organization as it undergoes its metamorphosis. It will be your tools of change, your tools of trade, your structure, values, and so forth. It's to highlight some of the challenges we are experiencing as an organization, which I think we must share with shareholders so that they can also guide us. The board will be working tirelessly with staff members to ensure that this is resolved as envisaged from all of us, that are aware our current savings products do not attract any fees for now. We want stock fails because our members have stock fails and so forth to report to the shareholders. The vigilance of our line management made it possible and very swiftly to detect and arrest such activities. A case was opened with SAP audits. The workload of the staff in the office was also an impediment. We have also had delayed in time managing director. The obligations of the AGM, we just want to, particularly towards our strategic planning session, as I've indicated, that we'll have such around March. The Constitution of Sadtu Sacco requires that all AGMs, at least, they should. We want to take this opportunity to express our appreciation as the board to the former MD Sadtu that started talking about the Sadtu Sacco up to the Congress, which adopted a resolution that we form even during the implementation phase when we started to implement. He was there in our launching meeting in terms of the conceptualization of the idea of Sadtu Sacco, the workshops that went through. He was part of them. So it then became prudent that he must then be able to take us forward. Growth to you, Somahashi. I saw you online. I'm sure you are there. We really appreciate the work that you have done. Wolf, a Marxist economics, as we conclude, strongly believe that capitalism is inherent in itself crisis, economic depressions aimed at dismantling the power of capitalism or a capitalist state or capitalist mode of production or capitalist order.
For the report done in time, I'm sure that we need to go to the next.
Thank you very much, Chair. Director is an accountant by profession. She has more than 10 years in the cooperative sector as cooperative bank manager, risk management, strategic planning, and mentoring. She was the managing director as a co-op bank with South African Reserve Bank in 2017. She has been in the position, also the chairperson of KZN CFI Forum in 2022. She was also running her own business in her company and general financial reporting. Chair, I present to this AGM our new Managing Director, Prosperity.
Report on the operations. Sadtu Savings and Credit Cooperative Limited has had Thank you. So as we can see, with we closed with 1,962. We're happy to announce that the target growth as per our business plan was met in 2023. During this period, to the 30% growth of 2022. So there was quite a jump in just have a look at that graph there, which indicates where the bulk of our members is sitting. And then obviously, as expected, since in terms of membership, with Gauteng and KZN leading. The Limpopo and Northwest Province had the biggest growth in membership, a high number of members.
The Sadtu head.
I would also just like to provide a bit of a picture, as I had said, that take us a bit longer.
Responsibilities. While dealing with more than 200 responsibilities, while dealing with more than 270,000 members of Sadtu, he was also expected to deal with the 100 with AGM, and then the AGM will then be able to guide us moving forward. We therefore want to apologize. I must apologize as the chair, apologize as ESCO, also
all our
apologize as ESCO, also
all our shortfalls as such. But in the introduction there, we are indicating that on behalf of the Sadtu Sacco Board of Directors, we are pleased to present the report together with the audited 2M 824,972 includes the operating expenses as they are standing there. Now, when we don't there, and it's the grant funding received from the institutional members as such. The total, I think I'm repeating myself, that members must know that by the institutional support, institutional sponsors in the form of Sadtu and SAI reflect so that we read the letter to members. By missing supporting documents, thereby extending our audit procedures to compensate for the discrepancies. As we indicated that we have a new accountants and auditors, that is the letter from the auditors as they are requesting that we give them some time, to finish due to the delays that are indicated the chairperson.
The business of the AGM is to interact with the audited financial statements. And therefore, it will be status.
Chair, or rather Secretary.
And the Audit and Risk Committee report on behalf of the chairperson of the committee, who has since tabled an apology of not being able to attend this particular AG. The board is also is assisted in this regard by the Audit and Risk Committee, whose responsibility is to communicate and monitor the risk management process, who are supported by the board. Therefore, the Audit and Risk Committee does not interfere with the day-to-day responsibility, which is the responsibility of the senior management of Sacco, as of internal controls. The Audit Risk Committee is a statutory committee and has 3 committee members, chairing for code of good practice and governance, and the responsibilities assigned by the board. The committee's ongoing maintains financial statements and ensure compliance with international financial reporting standards. To review and approve the appropriateness of recommend the integrated annual report to the board for approval. So that is insofar as the integrated and financial reporting is concerned. On the finance function, review Sacco's internal controls, including financial controls, ensuring that management is adhering to and continually improving these controls. To review significant issues raised by the internal audit process. When it comes to the risk management, our responsibility as a committee is to ensure that management processes and procedures are adequate to identify, assess, manage in the year 2023. The committee confirms that it has performed its duties and responsibilities during the time, with the hope that once we get our banking system correct, we'll then be able to, our banking system correct, we'll then be able to, to generate those monthly statements for the members. However, we must also indicate that this 948, and therefore affecting the increase by 9% to the value of 51,750. The CFO left, and it might become a bit cumbersome to appoint new auditors just for the remaining short period. Therefore, our recommendation is that let's continue with the current auditors up to the next.
Let's take the report on the credit committee. Can it be shared?
Those flaws and all the disadvantages that we had previously saw. And as such now, the Sadtu Sacco Credit Committee, as the committee member, Mrs. Arkikai, as the committee, are giving a synopsis there of the applications from March 2022 to September 2022, the applications and the approved ones indicated there. In the credit committee, we are still receiving loan application from non-Sadtu Sacco members. Number 2, default judgments amounting to huge amounts, specifically from financial institutions. If we have the defaults, the applications from members with lower than the required collateral. All the time we check the collateral versus the amount that is being applied, 39 cents. In September 2022, not 202, will correct that. It was 1 again, month in A2 will correct that. It was 1 again, month in areas with the amounts compared to the delinquency loans report that we presented in our last AGM. It was very huge, but we can see that at least there is a decline. Something is being done to trace debt counsellor and be attached on the loan application to the Sadtu Sacco as such, so that we can reconsider that, and then that the loan can be.
Which the Sacco owes to members, because whatever you save, we owe you. Now, in order to mitigate and balance that off, we need to sell more loans, because with loans we can then remain urgent until Q1. Discussions. None. You can take me back if you want to, or if I will have missed you. Let me then go to the credit committee. The report of the credit committee as presented by the treasurer. Thank you. I think some of the issues were also covered in the previous reports, like that one of delinquency. A question was raised, and I think an explanation was given for the adoption of the two reports. Formal mover and seconder is seconding. Thank you very much. I want now to move to the chairperson.
Governance committee, all members and guests, as well as shareholders who are on call. The structure of our report, but starting from the background, Chair, is that we were assigned the raise prior the AGM appoint a nominating committee of not less than 3 members. It shall be the duty of the nominating committee to nominate 1 or more nominees for the first one, Voisile Zaliam with Kanyisile Boisi and Comrade Tando Makitla. We also wish to indicate that this happened in Chair as well as from other committee leaders who have reported to this meeting. The nominating committee was mandated to undertake that program exits the committee. We used the Sacco shareholders list to ensure that we are then Managing Director, Mr. Sihlengubane, who came in very handy for us in supporting us with resources, and we must give thanks to him for having made our job a bit easier. Partly managerial, financial awareness, as well as administrative, over and above what is listed in the Constitution. The purpose of the report is to appraise the AGM of the progress made the Secretary of the Board to make sure that we are in line and in keeping with the expectations. We relied, like I said, on the list of names of the current realization. Sometimes when you start mentioning the name Sadtu and then you say to people, we want to lobby plan, is there reflected if the, okay. Yeah, the management plan, I will not bog down the AGM to the dates and the activity listed in the composite shareholders list. But their details are not accurate, which is something that we would have included a line below the nota bene to not even bog down the AGM with those they are in the report. Our outcome was then almost on the brink of, there was prudence in that particular resolution taken by the board on the 19th of December 2023. Which resolution, Chair, we are also the activities of the Sacco through up until the next AGM, which we were reliably informed that it will be sometime in August 2020. We also learned that in the audit and risk, there could be a member whose term of office is coming to an end. And as such, Audit and Risk Committee shall consist of 3 members who are not members of the Board of Directors, elected at the annual general meeting. So we were then imploring the agencies that we want to emphasize for the Sacco for this particular duration. So we have a list of 3 names that we have spoken to, and people who are responding are not those people that we thought we were talking to, because the numbers were, of the board's decision to continue until the next AGM. We therefore also want to implore the AGM now to consider.
AGM is happy. There are about 2. I think that one is operational. We can just request the office to do that update. But there is this one of whether it has support. You want to read it again from where you are, Chair?
Continue in their entirety and stabilize the Sacco until the next AGM, which will be.
Is the AGM happy to ratify that decision of the board? Yes, Mike.
Proper governance, this must be coming from the nomination committee. Not the nomination, but once we remove that, so that the nomination committee is actually recommending that, yeah, then that will be correct.
Voting, Chair, for the members of the Audit and Risk Committee. Well, I don't know.
Voting process. So on the screen, and it will show all the nominees. So for everybody who's online, we currently have.
Firstly, I think all those who are attending physically must also join the Zoom now, so that you are able to vote. I'm not sure whether you do. Is there a way that we flight the names so that how many people are we voting for? One registered, you will then register and join same time. Says Joanila song.
Comrades, on the screen right now is the poll. So if you can select your nomination.
People have started voting. There was a request, Chair of the Nominations Committee.
A background check, but it was telephonic. So we were not able to do a thorough, as none of them have ever given us their documents. I don't know whether they have ever given us their documents. I don't know whether we'll be able to.
Well, I'm not sure whether you are talking about the same thing. The background check and just a small resume. Small resume, short resume of who they are, qualifications and all that. If not ready today, maybe in the future. Thank you.
Thanks.
Even gender in future. Comrade Jones?
Because we will just be voting for the name that you just put in the head and just without any proper resume. We don't know the people that you are voting for, but we wanted to highlight.
CVs per se for these ones, but we can confirm that all of them, where they are practicing, it is within the commercial space in education.
Responsibility of the management is that once voting is done, is to do vetting.
Yes.
We'll definitely vet. We are at 62%.
Yes, Comrade Chair, we are currently at 62% with 20 out of 32 voters who have voted.
Okay.
Preferably, we would like
66% is 2/3 majority. Okay. I'm not sure. Or just write on the chat box if you are assisted Noktaba. %80 will be more acceptable. Let's wait and see if we get to 80%, then we can end the poll.
I'm not sure, man. If we could get assistance to somebody who's on, I see there are names that are repeating themselves on the participants.
How to deal with that?
No, Chair, the issue of 2 or 3 gadgets, it's people using one link. And you.
Thank you for that explanation, Board Secretary. Comrades, we are now at 87%. Yes, can we then agree to end the poll? 93 is good. Now, guide me, Zanele, do we take this as the announcement of results, or you will have to announce them?
results.
Okay, you may. Zanele, may I check again? Are you saying these are the results?
Yes, Comrade Chair.
Is then elected to the Audit and Risk Committee. We'll then deal with the administrative issues after this, communicating to him and all that. Yes, we are there now, Deputy Chair.
A word of thanks and gratitude to the board, as led by the chairperson, the Audit and Risk Committee, the staff, the Sadtu Media team, the Oversight Committee.